Hello, my wellness travelers. This is Dragonwolf. This is the full moon reading for September. It's in Pisces, and there is a lunar eclipse on its way with this full moon. So I went ahead and pulled a few cards just to get a little bit of the feeling for this reading. And the three that I have here, you see that this is the Justice card. You have the Moon card. And then you have the Nine of Cups. And so to go along with this, we also have the Oracle, which is the Watcher here. Put that a little bit more into frame there for you. So what this is talking about is for this full moon. Sorry, my little kitty walked by and shook the camera. And it's about justice. There is a balance needed right now. There is a balance that is going to be coming in. There is a balance that needs to be reviewed. There is an imbalance that needs to be fixed. So the entire theme is balance. This is about justice. It's about balance. It's about right. It's about honesty. It's about truth. It's about living right. It's about seeing what doesn't work and fixing it. It's about seeing what isn't working with those that you are in relationship with that isn't working. It's about looking at your job. It's about looking at your personal life. It's about looking at everything that you are doing in your life, everywhere. We need to be looking at justice. We need to be looking at balance. We need to be looking at truth and honesty. We need to be looking at this also from this perspective, which is the Watcher. And the Watcher, what that is saying is you need to rise up into a higher plane, and you need to be able to see things from a higher perspective. You need to know from a higher self. This is not from your physical plane. This is not from the lower level. This is from the higher level of self here. Looking down at yourself. See, this is even at a higher level, looking down at yourself. So the other two cards here, so the moon. The moon can represent many things. Mystery, the shadow self, uncertainties, doubts, fears, the unknowns, going into the darker self, going into the cave, going into things that you just don't know. And sometimes it's good not to know, because if we get to know too many things, we can overwhelm ourselves, and too much information can actually create uncertainty, doubt. We start to analyze too much. And in this case, there are certain things that are still in shadow. And it's not just, I don't feel like it's fully the shadow of fear in you, not the doubt completely. Doesn't mean that there isn't some things there, but there's some things that you just haven't seen yet about yourself and about the situations in your life. Doesn't mean that your doubt and fears are not a part of what you haven't seen yet, where the truth needs to be had with anything that comes up that is in your shadow self, that is doubt and fear. Now, this card here for Nine of Cups, and what that is saying is this is satisfaction. This is wishes coming true. This is things, so here you're seeing going into the water. So it's interesting because going into the water is going into your emotions, it's going into the subconscious, it's going into the psychic self, it's going into the spirit realm. So you're going into that to assist you getting this justice, getting this balance, getting this truth, and also allowing that which hasn't been seen yet to come to the surface. So you're going into the self, you're going into the spirit, you're going into your psychic self, your intuition, you're going into wherever you need to go, the cave. So if you're using that metaphor of the cave, because this also can represent going into the cave, here there's water in that cave. And water is emotion. But also water is a conduit of energy. And so it can be transforming and pulling you from one place to another place. So think of all of these metaphors, because this is a moment of things going to eventually be revealed, because you've got wishes coming true, you've got satisfaction, which means that you're going into and then pulling out of. And here, the Watcher. All of this needs to be seen from the higher realms, the higher self. So the other card that I pulled in conjunction with these was the Judgment. And this is about reviewing yourself. So the reason this was outside of this was because this all needs to start happening before you can review, before you can really assess yourself, assess everything, because you don't have all the information yet. It's time for everything to be put on the table to the best of your ability of what you know now, even if it's in a place of, I know something ain't clicking, I know something ain't jiving, I know I'm feeling imbalanced here or there. So the point is that the shadow is going to start revealing. You're going into the self, you're going into the spirit realm to be bringing what you don't see fully out. Doesn't mean you don't see some of it, but you don't see all of it. And then it's time for judgment. Again, make sure that we're doing from the higher self with this judgment. And this is real assessment. Okay, we need balance, we need truth, we need honesty, and then we need to assess. Then we need to judge. Then we need to also pray. We need to meditate. We need to sit. We need to be with what we haven't seen or fully seen, anything that might be coming from the realm of the shadow of fear and doubt, because we are going to have satisfaction. We're going to get balanced. So let's see what other cards might need to be coming out to fully let you know what is happening with this. This card wants to come out, and it is part of a pack of cards, so we will look at that. Okay, so we're looking at here burden, oppression, being stopped, being hindered, I'm feeling the energy of being stuck, but almost to the point where you feel like your chest is getting really tight. You feel like you almost have literally a hand holding your chest here. And someone is almost blocking you, pushing you. Like there is a real oppression, almost like someone is pushing down on your chest to not allow you to get up. And again, this is in conjunction with this justice and balance. What we haven't fully seen yet, we have to assess. Okay, so that is what the energy is also about right now. This is what our imbalance is doing to us, wherever that imbalance is. And it could be in several places. So this is really a time to really be looking at. And now that we have also the Page of Pentacles, which also means that this is, for most of you, in your physical plane, material realm, finances, business, job, career, work. And I'm also feeling hobbies. There's a creative element, but not creative in like we're, even if you're an artist, there's more here in the realm of making sure that your finances are working, like the practical side of the business, not just the creative side. I mean, I feel like there's like an element of creative, but that's not the height of this. It's more the finances, making sure you are running things properly and being open to new opportunities to excel. And then we also have the Temperance card. So we also have patience. We also have a need to get into a tranquil place. And again, with the water. So again, we're going deep, we're going to a higher self, but into a deeper self. So even though that your higher self, your spiritual self, going into the spirit realm to look down on your physical life, your physical plane, this lower density of energy, you have to do this from a place of your spirit. You need to be using your intuition. You need to be looking at it from, not from the place of where our society is, where the lower realms, their energy, their vibrations are. This is needing of a higher self. You need to be looking from that perspective. You will miss this. This will not fully make sense if you do not go to the higher self. And going into the higher self can mean going into a meditative state, and you can use whatever metaphor you want to. You can go into the earth, into the cave, into a crystal cave. You can ascend into a higher plane, into another realm. This is all metaphorical. This is what you're trying to do is connect with your spiritual self. Again, we're going to the higher self. And when you meditate, all you're doing is you are changing your brain waves. You are going into more of a calmer state to allow your spirit to rise up, to allow your conscious mind to kind of rest, take it down a notch, to allow your subconscious and your spirit to rise so that it can speak to you. And so your conscious mind can connect with that. That's what's happening right now. That's what needs to be happening, because there is some serious information to, again, we're going back to justice. We're going back to balance. We're going back to right. We're going back to truth. We're going back to honesty. And this is about you. This is about your world, your life, your everything. And your life does not just happen here on the physical plane. It happens on all levels. And so even though it is manifesting on the physical plane, your spiritual level is definitely also very much tied into this. And it is affecting that level too. What's happening there affects us here. What's happening here affects there. And so tight oppression, holding you down. And this can be you. You can be doing this. It could be with your shadow, could be your darker self, could be fears, could be doubts, could be. But this is where the assessment comes from, because you're going to find out what is holding you down. And it is showing in the more physical realm of material, financial, business, career, education. It's that type of world. Bills even. Because if you're not being able to balance your bills, something else is possibly out of order. And it could be that maybe you need a new job. Maybe you need more education to get a better job. Maybe you're spending too much money. Maybe you need to learn how to do a budget, whatever that might be. Maybe you are taking care of people that might need to possibly start taking care of themselves a little bit more. Maybe you're a little bit too much of a giver and you're doing it to your own detriment. So assess where this is. Maybe you're not believing in yourself enough to fully embrace who you really are and what skills you have to take it to the next level. It's, even though our society is very much about status and making a lot of money and having a lot of possessions, we are here in the physical world. So whatever success means, make sure that it's coming from a place of love and light and balance and truth. And success can mean so many things to so many people. But if you're doing it from a very higher plane self, you're going to do it from a place that is very balanced and healthy. And if you are afraid that you're not good enough, or you're afraid that you're not smart enough, or if you are afraid that the opportunities are going to be there, or you're afraid because you've been held back before, you're going to continue to be held back, whatever it is, this is the time. This is the time. This is, we're getting deep. We're going in. We're looking. We're allowing our emotional, our spiritual self to speak to us. That's what this is. This lunar eclipse, is all about. That's what this Pisces is about, this full moon. We're getting into it. And so with temperance, this is patience. This is making sure you stay balanced, making sure that you're not rushing in, because whatever is going to come up with this, that you're going to see from this higher realm, you're going to need some time to assess. Okay, let's go back to Judgment. You need time to assess. So let me clear these out because I got another part of the deck that wanted to come out. And this was the first card. So this means here, this is the Six of Swords. And what that is saying is it is a needed movement forward, but it's not going to be an easy movement. It's not the, all right, I'm ready, let's do this thing. It's going to be like, well, I know I've got to do this, but it's not easy. I'm emotionally upset about it, or I'm not ready to leave what I'm leaving. Okay, but it is time to move. It's just not easy. It's not easy at all. So I feel like we need to move backwards on this. Love, new beginning, Five of Cups, the Hierophant, Queen of Cups, and the Page of Wands. So, moving this way, love, new beginnings, and the Five of Cups. This is not always, the Lover's card is not always about loving like in an intimate romantic relationship. Love can, and this is a love of self, love of others. Could be love of pets, could be love of possessions, it could be love of anything. It is the emotion of love. It is the connection with. It is anything that is in that space of love, of light, of connection, desire. And I feel as though that this is a place where I'm also feeling some of you, and actually more the majority, that there is an imbalance in this realm. This is one of the aspects that you need to be looking at, that you need to be looking at improving and moving forward from. There's an imbalance here. There is. And I'm feeling as though that you have put way too much into either a relationship, a job, a belief system, someone else, maybe in a caretaking situation, maybe loving possessions too much, loving status too much, loving money too much, loving another human too much. There's an imbalance here. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of whatever this love is, whatever this interest is, whatever this passion is, whatever this connection is. But there's an imbalance. And we need a new beginning. And you've actually been feeling like there's been a need for a new beginning. And you're focusing here on what you're afraid to lose if you have that new beginning, if you shift as much energy and attention you're giving this. You're going to lose. But the thing here, and with this card, you see the cups back here. See, all you're focusing on here is what you're going to lose, what you're going to grieve, what you're going to have sorrow over, the fear, the doubt. But here is what you are not paying attention to, what you're still going to have. And what you're still going to have is something more balanced, because the situation is not completely wrong and bad. It's just you've put way too much into it. So whatever that way too much into it is, that's what needs to change. There needs to be a new beginning. And this is going to be a leap for you because this is tied to some of your issues, some of your wounds, some of your rooted problems that you've had, some of your behaviors that you've just gotten used to doing. That leaving that is also scary because then it's changing something about you that you've gotten comfortable with. Even when we're doing things that are not healthy, if we're comfortable with it, we don't want to stop doing it because then who are we? What are we going to do instead? How, it feels weird. It feels uncomfortable. Again, this is a big deal. Leaving this is a big deal. We know we need to. This is not new information. This is something that you ignore. This is something that you justify, something you keep giving good reason, or at least you think it's good reason to stay where you are. So it's time for you to look, to reassess. Going back to the original cards that we talked about. It's time to assess. And so here we got the Hierophant, which means that new wisdom. And the Hierophant is rules, belief systems, education, knowledge, wisdom, following a set pattern, plan, a knowing. But it can also be set without any flexibility, being rigid. And in this case, you're being rigid and you need to reassess your belief system. You need to reassess what you think is correct for you. And whatever this is that you are loving too much, you're pouring way too much into it. And for some of you, I feel like it's more than one thing, but it's all attached to the same root issue. So this may be more than one thing, more than one person, more than one situation. You need to reassess because it's connected to your wounds. Again, there's fear to start this new path. Again, the grieving of walking away from it and you've got to, but you're afraid to. Queen of Cups. This is saying that by doing this, by assessing and looking at the status quo of what you've created, of your belief system, of the rules and regulations of what you're following here, the wisdom you believe you have, also the justification and the rigidness. We need to get serious, and this is going back to the higher self. And here with the Queen of Cups, we're getting honest, we're getting fluid, we're getting real. Follow the truth that your spirit has been trying to give you. Some of you have been having dreams that have been trying to slap you in the face. There's been messages from God, from the divine, from the universe, whomever you're looking to. You've been hearing songs and seeing ads and different headlines that have been talking to you. You've been hearing different things that have been talking to you about what we're saying here. And this has been going on for many of you for months, off and on. And you continue to push it away. And this is about you having courage, taking action, having strength, going forward, having the belief, being strong, the knowing, the assuredness. And why it's in the page instead of in the Queen or King, where you would be more along in that strength and courage, is because this is something that you're actually afraid to do. So you are starting with this. You're not a weak person. You're just very scared. This that is being talked about, that is needing to be looked at, is scary. Because it is going to be creating a new belief system. Some things are going to be falling away. Okay, you're afraid. You're just looking at one thing without looking at the whole thing. Courage, action, movement. It's time. Let's see if there's any other card that God wants to provide to close this out for you. Okay. And now we have the Page of Swords. And so this is also part of the assessment. The assessment is not just emotional. It's also mental. It's also using your intellect. It's also evaluating. Your mind is very much a part of that. And this is also about truth. Okay, we're going all the way back to the first card. Truth, justice, honesty. These are going hand in hand right now. Truth, honesty, justice. When you know that you're in the right situation, before your mind, before your conscious mind, with all your fears and doubts that can flow in, your spirit, your gut, has at peace. That's letting you know you're in the right place. One more oracle to accompany this. Okay, the Temptress. Do not be tempted by your fears and your doubts. Do not believe that what it is we've been talking about, what it is that you, I'm pretty sure you've already had a couple of ideas of what this can be talking about. Do not fall back into the, well, it's not that big of a deal. Well, I'm really comfortable here. I don't want to shake things up. Well, it's not really broken, so why fix it? You know, I'm doing okay. Why do I want to do that? That's not necessary. It'll make me uncomfortable. It'll stop this process. I'll lose this. Do not be tempted by that. Do not be tempted by that. So this is your full moon reading for September in Pisces. It is a lunar eclipse. And let me tell you, eclipses, we got the lunar right now, and the solar is going to follow. And this is the time for stuff to be coming up. It's the time for the things that we're not looking at to come up. That's what the lunar is. It's to bring it from the depths and bring it up. And then the solar is all about intensifying those energies, intensifying those issues. The eclipse season is so painful and difficult and emotional, but so needed. It is a spring cleaning. It is a clearing out of emotions, a clearing out of the cobwebs. It's a clearing out of things that we are holding on to. It is a shake-up. And we need these shake-ups because us being human, we love following routine. We love being the same. Even for people who are spontaneous, there's a routine in your spontaneity. If you look at it, you have a comfortability there in your spontaneity. And those that are very routine driven, and I actually am a routine driven type of person, there's comfortability in that. So for this particular full moon lunar eclipse, it is time for you to get into it. This is Dragonwolf. Thank you for being here with me. And this is going to affect me too, because I've already been experiencing it. And that's another thing with eclipses. The energy starts well before and it continues well after. So this has already been happening to me, and I'm sure it's already been happening to you. And follow me on Instagram. Check out my website at kathyshannondesign.com. And I know you're going to do well because I'm going to do well. We're all going to get through this together, and we're all going to be better humans for it. Have a great day.